Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here. Welcome to the final cut, and got an interesting one for you today. This one is called Interaction. It is from director Dallas Richard Hallam, and we get the story of Rebecca, who is she's a house cleaner with some dark voyeuristic tendencies. She herself isn't very vocal. She doesn't seem to really be able to express emotions until she listens to the secret recordings that she's doing of the clients that she has. Yes, she has put recording devices around the houses, and when she cleans, she retrieves them and swaps out the tape. She was doing it by tape and then by digital, and we see how she kind of lives through these people as her life itself is not that exciting, at least to her. Well, when she ends up crossing paths with a dark individual who has a more sinister secret, she kind of uses that to explore the darker side of herself, and we see how things really escalate to a very bloody conclusion in Interaction. Man, this film is definitely one of those creepy slow burns that makes it worth the ride. It's one of those things where there's not a huge amount of action in here. And what's interesting is all of the really dramatic events happen through the recordings. So you're listening to what Rebecca's listening to and seeing her reactions, and you're having your own reactions to listening just the audio. And it's great because here Hallam is making the theater of your mind really work of what's going on here. And I really loved that. At first it was a little off. I was like, well, what are we doing here? And then as the film goes on, and especially as we get closer to the Rebecca character and realize that things are escalating and what we're witnessing as she changes is dark and disturbing. And it's methodical. It moves along and it just slowly escalates. And I loved that. I really loved. She was the main character in here. The supporting cast in here does very well in here, including Morgan Lind, who plays a character later in the film that becomes a vital chunk of the plot. But all these characters are. But it's a very interesting exploration into people's voyeuristic tendencies and what that can do to a person. Yeah, Susie Ablock, who plays Rebecca, is so good in this. So good. She plays this perfectly. This kind of just subdued, subtle, going along with life. But then, as we stick with her, because we stay with her through the whole film, that's how we witness everything, is through her eyes. We witness some of her more intimate moments and some of the things that, but again, not a huge amount of dialogue with her, but it's through her acting and her emotions that you really pick up on things. It's not until into the third act when she really starts having some monologues in here. One particular, which I'm sure is going to make some folks feel uncomfortable in various ways, depending on your taste. So, but it's still an effective feature film that, again, I didn't know anything about it, but once I experienced it, which you do have to, you appreciate what effort went into this. And using the theater of your mind, I come back to that because that was one of the most effective uses of it, I think, that I've seen in a horror film. I enjoyed the ending as well. It ended mostly the way I was hoping it would end, but the cinematography in here, especially as we go along, was done really well. The use of corners and angles and shadows, filming in a dark woods or in a barn or an open field, all of this giving you this feeling of claustrophobia and closeness to your character, and then wider shots when it's less personal. All of that language through the camera is done here as well. Interaction, if you can catch it at a festival. I don't think it's out on streaming yet. You should. If you like a slow burn, character-driven film that does something a bit different with your kind of socio-psychopath type of personality, yeah, I think this is one that's definitely one that's going to be up your alley. It was mine, and I was very happy that the film festival showed this one. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Like, subscribe, bells and whistles here. Trying to get to that 8K subscribers by the end of the year. And I can only do that with your help. So thank you so much. And until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.